Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, on this episode, we are going to dive into something that is, I'm going to be honest, the just bane of my existence. One of my pet peeves on this planet is when people who lean towards gun control or advocate for gun control or infer towards gun control utilize children in studies that are stretching the truth. That is one of my pet peeves on the planet, and that is what we're going to debunk and refute right now. Everything is linked in the description box below, and I'm about to show you a study from an actual professor, from a medical professor, completely obfuscating the obvious conclusions in this report and laying it at the feet of expansion of gun purchases over the past pandemic. This is lazy at best, and in my personal opinion, an attempt to thwart the Second Amendment. This is, like I said, I might get spicy. Everything is always linked, as I mentioned. I'm going to say a quick word from our sponsors, Scape Knives. Then we're going to dive into this, and I cannot wait to lay this bare for you guys and your comments down below. Now, the sponsor for this episode of Freedom is Kamikoto Knives. Now, of course, knives are a little outside of our realm, but every single 2A advocate needs to fuel their body, and to do that, you need the right tool in the kitchen, which is why I want to show you guys these things. These Kamikoto knives are legit. Right out of the box, check out not only the exquisite design and the nature, but look at the balance on that knife. I got a few things to tell you about them. I can't wait to hear what you guys think, and we're going to hit it in 1 second. The knives are made with a high-quality Japanese steel using traditional techniques. Each knife is individually inspected and comes with a lifetime guarantee. The knives come in a heavy-duty ashwood box, which makes them a great present. The knives are used by Michelin star chefs all over the world, so why shouldn't they fuel your freedom in your kitchen? Now, Kamikoto has several special offers going on right now and is offering my viewers an extra $50 off on any purchase with the discount code Langley. On top of their special offers, go to kamikoto.com/Langley to get your knife set and help support our channel. All right, my brothers and sisters, as I mentioned, one of my pet peeves, we're about to dive into it because first they came at us with guns are now the #1 leading cause of all children in the United States, which we refuted immediately when that study came out. It has since been used by the president, every politician from A to Z, all the while not being true because they include 18 to 21-year-old as children, and they surpassed cars as the cause of death for children. That is not correct. But here we go. Here's another one. I cannot wait to hear what you guys think. Check it. Gun injuries to kids rose during the pandemic. That is the simple title. This is on U.S. News. Now, what do you bet there's more to this story than just that title? You are correct. Let's dive in. Friday, October 7, 2022. Firearms sales in the United States broke records at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. So right out the gate, you can kind of see where this is going. We sold more guns than we've ever sold in the past. During the pandemic, more guns, more guns, more guns, proliferation of firearms. All the talking points that you've heard for almost 2 years now, and we've been quite busy refuting. Laying the groundwork. Just a piece of information out there before we go into our next points. Let's continue. Now, researchers have found that firearm injuries to children also increased during the pandemic's first 2 years compared to the preceding year. Okay, that's kind of vague, kind of broad. So now we've introduced the idea. The topic was gun injuries in kids rose during the pandemic. Next statement, Friday, firearm sales in the United States broke records at the beginning of the pandemic. So we had more kids harmed, we had more firearms sold, and then the next one is, researchers have found that firearm injuries to children also increased during the pandemic's first 2 years compared to preceding years. It's almost like they're trying to build a case that if you have more guns in existence, you're going to have more children harmed in existence. Almost like they're inferring that without saying it. But check it out. They're going to say it for you anyway. Here's the quote. We experienced an increase in pediatric firearm-related injuries in spite of a decrease in total pediatric emergency department visits during the situation pandemic, said senior author Dr. Irma Ugalde. She is director of pediatric emergency medicine research at McGovern Medical School in UT Health Houston. So right off the gate, again, inferring what she's implying, you had less pediatric visits, but you had an increase in pediatric firearm-related injuries. Probably nothing to do with the fact that all children were locked in their houses for 2 years with an increased exposure to a potentially careless situation. No. We can't talk about anything outside of the realm of more guns were purchased, therefore we have problems. And again, we're about to get into the numbers because you would think, by the way this is leading in, numerous amounts, limitless numbers. Incorrect. Check this out. These findings parallel the increase in background checks and firearm sales across the nation following the start of the pandemic. A significant increase in firearm injuries occurred in African American children, Ugalde said in the news release from the American Academy of Pediatrics. So this is in an established journal. Again, we're going into background checks and firearm sales. The first four things I've showed you are increase in harm and more gun sales. That's all they're trying to link here. Listen to the numbers. And before I say the actual number here, I want to say out loud as a preface, I'm never okay when more people are harmed. That's never a good thing. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to what I just showed you, the way they're laying this out in this press release, you would think that there's a proportional relationship between more guns purchased and more injuries. Listen to the number increase. For the study, her team reviewed patient records from a Houston area hospital from 2019 to 2021. In all, pediatric firearm-related injury cases rose from 88 in 2019 to 118 in 2020. They continue to be high in 2021 with 115 children injured, the investigators found, so an increase of 30. Would you expect from what I just laid out to you, buried in the very bottom of that article, to be the number 30, the increase of 30, when 20 million guns were sold in this exact time frame? Notice they didn't say how many guns were sold in the time frame because that would water down the point they were trying to drive home. They didn't say anything about any other factors involved, just that untold background checks, untold firearm purchases, increase in gun injuries with children. Then they show you the numbers buried in the very bottom, and it was an increase of 30. Again, I want to reiterate, I'm not okay with that number being above zero. I want it to be zero. It comes down to responsibility and safe storage practices. Not government mandated, by the way, but responsibility driven. But the idea that this entire press release is built around the fact that they're trying to make you think that because more guns were sold on record than ever have been before, there was a direct correlation to more children being injured, when you can clearly see there were other correlating factors, such as, I don't know, a lockdown that lasted for 1.5 to 2 years with children in the homes all the time. You partner that with irresponsibility and some bad things can happen. That's not on the fault of the Second Amendment rights of a population. That's on the individual responsibilities at fault. And that's what I've got for you. This type of manipulation, this type of steered inference is something that gets my goat beyond belief, especially when children are used as the focal point to take away further rights of other people. And that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments field below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.